Well, I'm going to just throw your guy, Jordan Love, on here.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not loving it.
Oh.
Not loving it. Clearly not loving it. You got 18, week 18, going up against the Chicago Bears, a team that you guys have owned, 11 straight wins. You're a part of that now. But your coach has decided, my guys need to play. Why? Primarily because you haven't played good. You didn't play good last week against another division rival, but you in these games that you gotta perform, and I'm not necessarily talking about this week, it's the postseason. Because in games that you haven't won, this is what you look like this year. When we look at your numbers, it's not good.
Ooh.
You're gonna have to face one, two, or three of these teams. Well, two of these teams if you keep winning. You can't be this guy. Jordan, you're better than this. Your team is expecting you to play better than this. Your coach is basically saying, I want to see more going into the postseason. It is up to you to build the momentum because whoever you need to face, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Rams, and if you win one of those games, so on and so forth, the Lions or the Vikings, you can't be that guy. You got to be the guy that they expected you to be when they paid you all that money. Jordan, I believe in you. Don't be J-No.
Oh.
Be
J-Lo!
There you go.
I love it. I love it. Yes, go out there and get it done, J-Lo. I'm with that.
Before I do my thing, because it's not quite 410 yet, and there's rules and standards about this. Brew, did you think, we were talking about the NFC Pro Bowl snubs. We were focused on Baker not making it over Jaden. Did you think J-Lo had a case? Like, we didn't get to it earlier in the show.
I'm not above those four. Not above those. As much as I like him.
There's a little, which is, I guess, like,
going in, you might
oddly disappointing going, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Given the
yeah,
expectations
absolutely.
going into the year. Okay.
All right. That's all Nick had to say about Jordan Love. He goes on and talks about other stuff. Kansas City Chiefs nonsense. But so, Jordan Love. Okay. So, I don't think this graphic is the fairest thing. I get it. I do. But, first off, that loss to the Eagles was week 1 in Brazil on a bizarrely weird, slippery field where all around the league, quarterbacks all around the NFL were not very sharp, okay? That was very obvious. Then he got injured and missed multiple games. Had a real injury to his knee that really did impact his play. Had a wonky first game against the Vikings. And then, yeah, you had 3 total games, another game against the Vikings and 2 games against the Lions, that there was a lot to be, left to be desired, whatever the heck the saying is. But I'm just not so sure. Again, it all falls on Jordan Love. This has definitely been a frustrating season from a different few angles, right? Whether it's just an entertainment view, whether it's from an evaluation of like, who is this quarterback? Who will he continue to be? Expectations. Going into the season, I was like Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. And we were like, this is before anyone played anything, right? This was strictly off season. I was like, those are the two quarterbacks who I think are going to be MVP favorites, mainly because I believed in how great they would play along with the media momentum that I felt that they had. And I think if both those quarterbacks were playing really well, and if both their teams were, top seed, top 2, top 3 seed, whatever, I think they would be in the MVP conversation. That did not work out for either of those quarterbacks. It seems like we went back to the usual suspects of Lamar and Josh Allen, etc. So I was expecting more, but I really do give Jordan Love grace mainly because of his injury, but I don't explain all of his struggles 100% on the injury. Some of his interceptions I do think were just unfortunate and bad luck, which I've already unpacked like weeks ago. At this point, when you actually go through all his interceptions, you can see sometimes it was just unfortunate. Sometimes it was just a great defensive play. Sometimes it was on the receiver. You have drop passes. Like you have kind of all of these other things that kind of go into when thinking about how good or not good Jordan Love has been. But to me, and I said this a couple days ago, especially when after the last Packers game against the Vikings, I struggle with just what the plan of attack is, what the fundamental game plan is. Like, that's actually what I struggle with more than anything. And now that they do have some injuries on the Packers, I'm interested to see how they're going to be able to kind of overcome this. I mean, yeah, they should beat the Bears very convincingly. And if they don't, that is incredibly alarming going into the playoffs. It just is. Like you need to see them put this together here. And as Jordan Love said, we have a lot to clean up. You don't want to be saying we have a lot to clean up going into the final game of the season. Everything's supposed to be cleaned up. You're supposed to just be kind of doing the final touches on things. And so the fact that they do need to kind of have a get right game, is frustrating to see. I'm definitely not counting out the Packers or anything, but it's irritating. It's irritating, and truthfully, I feel as though Matt LaFleur's best game plans were the Malik Willis games, and not because of Malik Willis, just because I really loved the flow of not only what the scripted plays were, but just kind of the rhythm of the play calling. But then also the Packers versus the Dolphins. I loved that game, and I loved that attack, and it didn't feel desperate. Everything felt intentional. And I thought it was such a beautiful balance between these easy, quick, high percentage throws and then these deep balls all bounced and set up through the run game. Like, I loved it. And I remember I'm like hanging out watching the game here after watching a couple bad football games, for Thanksgiving. And oh no, I wasn't up here. I was downstairs. And I was like, this is awesome. I was like, this is what I've been waiting to see. I think it was Thanksgiving. My memory has already slipped. I'm like, was it a Thanksgiving game? I'm pretty sure it was. It was that late, the last game. And it was, awesome to see. But then I haven't really seen it since then. I take it back. The other game that I really loved was against the Seahawks, because it was very reminiscent of the the Dolphins game, and lo and behold, look, they scored 30 in both those games. I know they kind of got things going against the Lions in the second half, but the more you see the Lions play, the less that game ages. It doesn't age well from my viewpoint. Because look what the 49ers were able to do. Look what the 49ers offensively were able to do against the Lions. I expect the Packers to do way more than that at this point. And again, you expect them to be able to crush the Saints. It's the Saints. And that Vikings-Packers game, like that game messed me up more than anything, honestly. Because I was just like, I don't know what the Packers are trying to do offensively. And I understand that the Vikings defense is going to be able to cause some trouble. I get it. But I just did not see a reliable answer. And I found that frustrating. I really found that frustrating. Everything just felt forced and at times desperate. And I still struggle to understand why. I really do. I probably should go back and watch other breakdowns of that game, or even just rewatch it, because when I was first watching it, sometimes when you first watch a game live, you're taking notes. I mean, I take notes. I got my notes all over the place, and I'm trying to, but I'm watching it in real time, so I'm just trying to also I'm also wrapped up in the outcome and kind of what's about to happen. And once you know the outcome, kind of loosely how things unfold, then you can kind of go back and be like, all right, let me really look and see what happened in this drive. Where did things go wrong? How did they have momentum, and then how did it completely go away from them? Was it a bad throw? Was it a suspect play call? Was it a poorly run route? Whatever it may be. And I just, in a way, this game, the Packers, I'm conflicted, but I do lean on saying that the Packers really do need one of those games where it's 30-10 or something, right? Where it's a game where it's obvious that the Bears have no business. Because I don't even know what type of energy the Bears are bringing into this game right now. It's not like the Bears are really in a position to like spoil the Packers. Like that's not happening either. So I don't really know what the Bears are going to be bringing. So like this should be honestly more similar to what the Bills did to the Jets last week. Like that's the level of game. If it's what the Bills did to the Patriots, it's like we got problems, man. We got problems. Because right now, like, and I don't want to put this all in this one game where it's like, oh, if they play great against the Bears, I'm like, all right, Packers are back. They can do damage. And if they don't, I'm like, I don't know. I don't believe the Packers are going to get out of the first round. It's just one of those things where I just want to play high. I want to see them play high level football. I need to be shown that they can do it again. You know, that they could do it. And I just want to understand, because when they go up against the Lions and the Vikings, and I'm just going to throw out the Eagles game because, like, again, week 1, I could care less. If I just look at the last 2 games, the last, game against the Vikings and the last game against the Lions, what I fundamentally saw was the Green Bay Packers not playing high quality football and not the football that I expect them to be able to play. And yet those games still ended up pretty close, which, bodes well. But I just want to see them. I just want to see them get there. I just want to see them be able to continue to play high level football in all aspects of the game, in all phases of the game. That's what I'm really waiting to see. And I don't know. I really don't know what their plan is with Jordan Love going into the playoffs. Like, are they going to just be like, hey man, just let it rip, let's get after it? Or are they going to really try to lean on the run game? Like, are they going to just like, I don't know. Like, and that's what I think I'm kind of fumbling over here, because it's just like, at this point, I have a strong idea, like really strong idea. I know who the Lions are. I know who the Eagles are. I know who the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. I know who all these teams are. I'm very confident at this point. I mean, I hope I am. I mean, I've seen enough I've seen all these games, and it's, we're at the end of the season. I don't know who the Packers are. I know what I believe them capable of doing, but I don't know what their identity is and what's going to show up. And again, I find that frustrating. And I'm just curious, do other Packers fans feel that way? What is your feeling right now about the Packers? Do you have that frustration? Do you have that confidence? Do you have that lack of confidence? What are you expecting out of Jordan Love? Are you concerned with Jordan Love? Like, I'd love some updated perspectives on, with regards to what the Packers are and kind of, what you're hoping to see them be able to achieve. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love's struggles in his losses? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.